Hello, friends. Welcome to today's football predictions on Betkraft. All right, today is another beautiful Sunday morning, and as usual, we know that a lot of games going on a lot across the globe, and we're able to select a few amongst all of those, and we're able to make our predictions based on recent performances for this very club side, and for bringing it forward for you. And also in a short while, we'll be looking at this match. It's one of the other quite exciting matches out there, and I want to ask the folks who are coming across our video for the first time that are yet to subscribe to kindly take our time to, hit the subscription button down there so that you do not miss out on our games that will always come up on this channel on a daily basis. Okay, that being said, all right, without further ado, let's get to the business of today, and we'll be starting with the first match that we have today, actually in the Dutch league, first division. We'll have a Heerenveen who will be up against a PEC Zwolle, and we could see that Heerenveen have, in the last six have actually won two games and have lost three and had one draw. And PEC Zwolle, the outside also the same, winning two games and losing three, are also having one draw in the last six encounters for their away side also. And when you look at how these two teams have fared, from home and away perspective, Heerenveen have actually won five games in the last 10 home games. They've had three losses as well as two draws, and Zwolle on the other hand, their away side have won just one win in the past 10 away games, and also they've had three draws, but they've lost six times in the last 10 away games that they have. So when we look at how they fared from head-to-head perspective, when they met each other, the last time they met was in July. We saw Heerenveen beating this side by 5-2. Prior to that in March, we also saw Heerenveen playing from home, beating this side by 2-0, 2-0. On that occasion. So in this very one, we know that Heerenveen is actually, the brother side, seeing that the last two home games that they had with these guys, saw Heerenveen comfortably defeating this side. So we will expect a win for the home side in this one. So Heerenveen to win outrightly, that's a value for that very game. And that takes us to the next. Also in the Dutch league, where we have Ajax Amsterdam who will be up against the Groningen. Ajax have won four games in the last six, and they've had two draws. They've not lost any single match in the last six games that they had so far. And looking at the Groningen, their way side, have managed just one win, and they had three draws as well, but they've lost two games in the last six matches that they had. When you look at how these two teams fared from home and away perspective, Ajax Amsterdam in the past 10 home games have managed 9 wins out of those 10 home games, but they've lost one. And the away side, Groningen, have been able to achieve 6 victories in the last 10 away games, but they've lost one, and they've had three draws. The only loss was in the last away game where they lost to Groningen. They lost to Heerenveen on that occasion. And in this very one, also looking at how they fare from head-to-head perspective, you could see that last time they met was in May this year. We saw them playing out a 2-3, lost to Ajax on that occasion. I know Ajax beating them from away on that occasion. But prior to that, we also saw Ajax beating this side by 6-1. And it has always been Ajax who have had the upper hand against this side. And the last 6 meetings for both sides have actually produced lots of goals, saying that the last 2 meetings have actually produced over 4.5 goals between these two sides. So in this very encounter, we did really expect to see lots of goals as well in this one. So a minimum of over 2.5, that's our body for this very game. We'll see a minimum of 3 goals. That's what we expect. Okay, that takes us to the next for today, which actually is in Spanish La Liga, where we'll have Deportivo Alavés who will be coming up against Barcelona, FC Barcelona. All right, Deportivo Alavés who have had 3 wins in the last 6 games. Also, they've lost 3, and Barcelona also have won 4 games in the last 6, losing 2 games out of it. And when you look at how these two teams perform from home and away perspective, you can see that Deportivo Alavés in the last 10 home games quite doing very well, if you ask me. Seeing that they've actually won 6 games in the last 10 home games, and they've also had 4 draws. They've not lost a single match in the past 10 home games that they had so far. That tells you a lot about the side. And FC Barcelona, on the other hand, have won 7 games from away, but they've also lost 3. We saw them losing out at the last away game they played out against Osasuna by 4-2 on that occasion. And that was in the best of outings for FC Barcelona. And also seeing that the last time they met was in February this year. We saw Barcelona defeating this side from away by 3-1, and we also saw Barcelona beating this side in November last year by 2-1. So when you put all that together, knowing that the last 3 meetings for both sides have actually resulted to a win for FC Barcelona, and in this very one, we definitely expect a win for Barcelona in this very game. So it's an away win That's our verdict for that very encounter. All right, that takes us straight to the next game, and it is in the German Bundesliga where we have Eintracht Frankfurt who will be up against the Bayern Munich. All right, Frankfurt have won 5 games out of the last 6. They've also had 1 draw. They've not lost a single match. That tells you that this team is quite informed at the moment. And the Bayern Munich, on the other hand, have won 4 games, drawing 1, losing 1 out of the past 6 recent games that they have so far. And we look at how these two teams fared from home and away perspective. You could see for Frankfurt, the home side, they've actually won 4 games in the last 10 home attempts and have lost just 1 game. Drawing most of the matches. They've drawn 5 games out of the past 10 home games that they had. That loss that they had, the only loss they had was against Bayern Munich, where they lost that by Bayern Leverkusen, where they lost that by 5 goals to 1 on that occasion. And looking at Bayern Munich on the other hand, their away side, you could see that the last 10 away games that they had have resulted to 6 wins for their away side. You see Bayern Munich, and they've also lost 3 games out of those, and they've drawn 1 game in the last 10 away games that they had so far. All right, and the last time they met was in April this year. We saw Bayern Munich play for home on that occasion, defeating the side by 2 goals to 1. But we also saw Frankfurt in December last year beating Bayern Munich by 5 goals to 1. And that tells you that the two teams are quite familiar foes, and in this very encounter, we'll expect to see a lot of goals in this one because you see that the last 4 home games for Frankfurt have seen Frankfurt scoring a minimum of 2 goals in all 4 home games that they have so far. And Bayern Munich, on the other hand, have also been producing lots of goals. We saw them scoring a 5-0 victory against Werder Bremen, and also 6 goals against Hostel Kane. And we saw them playing scoring 3 against the Wolfsburg from away. So in this very encounter, we'll expect to see a minimum of over 2.5 in this very one also. Okay, over 2.5, that's our verdict. Okay, that takes us to the next, and it is in Italian Serie A. We'll have Juventus who will be up against Cagliari, and Juventus also have won 3 games in the last 6 matches, and they've also had 3 draws as well. And away side, Cagliari have won 2, drawing 1, but losing out 3 in the past 6 recent encounters. When you look at how these two teams are fared from home and away perspective, because we see that Juventus, the home side, have actually been able to manage 5 victories in the last 10 home games, and they've also had 5 draws as well. They've not lost a single match in the last 10 home games that they have so far. That's a lot about the home side. And the Cagliari, on the other hand, have won 3 games from away, and they've also had 3 draws, but they've lost 4 matches in the last 10 away games that they had so far. And looking at how they fared last time they met, we saw them playing out a 2-2 draw against Juventus. But prior to that, in last year, that was last year when Juventus played from home last against this side. We saw Juventus defeating this side by 2 goals to 1, and also prior to that, Juventus was able to beat this side by 2 goals to 1 once again from away. And then this very game, we definitely expect a Juventus side dominating this very encounter, seeing that a recent run for the Juventus side have seen them doing so very well, both from home and away. So we'll expect a win for the Juventus side. Home win. That's our body for that very game. All right. The next game that we have for you is actually in Turkey, where we have Galatasaray who will be up against the Alanyaspor. All right. Galatasaray in the last 6 have actually won 4 games out of those, but have had 2 draws in the past 6 recent encounters. But Alanyaspor, the away side, have actually managed 2 wins, 2 draws, as well as 2 losses in the last 6 recent encounters for the away side. All right, when you look at how these two teams fared, from home and away perspective, because we'll see, Galatasaray, the home side, have actually been able to manage to achieve, 6 victories in the last 10 home games that they had. They've had 1 draw, which was their last home game when they lost. They drew that match against Kasımpaşa by 33 draw. All right, and also we saw them losing out on 3 occasions out of the past 10 home games that they had. And looking at Alanyaspor, their away side, we can also see that they've won 4 games from away. They've also had 4 draws, and they've lost 2 games in the last 10 away games that they played out so far. Those losses was in their matches against Başakşehir and also Fenerbahce, where they lost 3 goals to 0 against Fenerbahce. But the last time both teams met and had results, I've actually seen Galatasaray beating this side in April this year by 4 goals to 0 from away. And prior to that, we also saw Galatasaray in November last year beating this side by 4 goals to 0 once again. And also, Galatasaray had the upper hand against this side by 4 goals to 1. There's always been lots of goals for Galatasaray against this very side, and then the last 6, the last 5 meetings for both sides have actually seen Galatasaray, achieving a victory on all 5 games against this very side, be it home or away. And this very one, we definitely expect a win for the home side. Galatasaray to win our throughout in this very game. That's all about it for that very game. And that remember today is also our Sunday Millionaires game, and that should be coming up. All right. In a short while, I'll be posting the Sunday Millionaires games. All right. Remember to also play responsibly. It's only a football game. All right. I wish you the very best of luck. I hope that it goes green. And tomorrow is another day, and we'll be coming up with our productions on this very channel. But until then, keep winning.